Episode 20, To the Cliff of the Death God. Plong journeyed on, but he was no longer the same person. He no longer noticed the beauty of nature, no longer looked up at the stars at night, and no longer felt the warmth of the sun on his skin. He had become a machine driven by a single purpose: vengeance. His movements were fluid and efficient. He ate when hungry, slept when his body demanded it, and walking forward relentlessly like a soulless killing machine. The deeper he traveled into the northern lands as guided by his master, the more the landscape deteriorated. The once lush forests turned into blighted woods. The trees were twisted and strangely withered, and the animals he encountered were bizarre and unnaturally aggressive. The air constantly carried the faint smell of sulfur and decay. This was a cursed land, the domain of the dead. Obstacles that had once been difficult for him were now trivial. When he was ambushed by a pack of demonic beasts that resembled wolves but radiated a black aura, he did not fight desperately as he had before. He slaughtered them in cold blood. He wielded the Lek Lai spirit knife with brutal ferocity, used the tiger skin Takrut to terrify them with its aura of dominance, and channeled the power of the Naga's Fang to increase his speed until he was a nearly invisible blur. The fight was over in moments. He was surrounded by the carcasses of the beasts. Yet his eyes showed no emotion, no fear, not thrill, not even a flicker of remorse. Several weeks passed, and he finally reached his destination, the Cliff of the Death God. The sight before him made even Plong's numb heart shudder. It was not an ordinary cliff, but a colossal chasm that split the earth apart like a gaping wound on the face of the world. In the center of that chasm, a gargantuan spire of black rock stood alone. Its peak so high it pierced the heavens and disappeared into a vortex of black clouds that swirled perpetually like a storm that never ceased. The wind that howled through the canyon shrieked like the screams of a million tormented souls. And at the base of that spire, a single, ancient, crumbling stone staircase spiraled upwards, vanishing into the clouds. This was the path to the final trial. The moment Plong stepped near the first stair, an ancient, powerful, and genderless voice echoed directly in his mind. "Seeker, you have arrived at the gate of judgment. Here, your power and your artifacts are meaningless. My test is a trial of the spirit. You must ascend the staircase of sin and face the true demon, the demon within your own heart. Confront your deepest fear, your heaviest sorrow, and your darkest desire. If you overcome them, the wishing crystal shall be yours, but if you fail, your soul will be crushed and shall remain here for eternity." Plong listened in silence. His mind, which he believed he had emptied of all feeling, was a void. He felt no fear. He did not hesitate. He walked forward and placed his foot on the first stone step. Instantly, the world around him dissolved. The chasm, the rock spire, the howling wind, everything vanished. He found himself standing in the middle of a familiar village, his own village, but it wasn't destroyed. It stood whole and peaceful just as it was in the past. He could smell the familiar fragrant aroma of his mother's cooking wafting from the kitchen. And then he heard it. The voice he had longed to hear for more than a decade. A voice that was gentle and full of love. "Plong, my dear son, what are you doing out there? Come inside, dinner is ready." It was his mother's voice. He turned to look at the doorway of his home, and saw the figures of his father and mother smiling, waiting for him. They were alive. They were waiting for him to come home. This was the first test, the illusion of his greatest desire. The life that was stolen from him now returned and standing right before him.